Hey there everyone, my name is Monkey Shrapnel, one of the guys who play games, and we're here with what looks to be, at face value, Donkey Kong Country 3. Let me turn the sound a little bit so I can actually hear. But, and even though all the names are the same, that's because of the limitations of the program that they use, because what this is actually a ROM hack that has been titled Tag Team Trouble, and we're going to be playing through this, ROM hack, as it were. So, this game features, I believe, all of the levels are completely well, they're not completely redone because some of the certain level types, like waterfalls, are generally kind of very similar in like geometry. But a lot of stuff has been changed still. Like enemies are all like moved around and shit. A lot of different stuff has been placed. And this is actually the ROM hack I was talking about in the Pacifica video, where there's a lot of really cool ideas for levels in this game, essentially, that I want to test out. Now, all the bonuses are the same, so I won't be doing any of those. It's like we can see that bonus down there, and you get that by just kind of going through the ground. Well, not through the ground, but you know what I mean, like underneath. And, whatchamacallit? Oh my god. No, you know what, that's fine. I'm demoing, you know? Anyways, yeah, you go through the ground here, and there's your bonus. It's a little bit of floating grass there. And yeah, so pretty much, I'm gonna be playing through this game. Not much more needs to be said than that. It's a pretty cool ROM hack. Although, one big thing I will say right now, like, you've noticed we just got a bunch of coins. It's like, there's a lot of that. There's like, because he couldn't use, the dude who made it couldn't use all the items, it's like, a lot of items are just kind of placed on the main path, even though they're invisible, which is kind of weird. But otherwise, you know, it's a really cool ROM hack. Like, I like a lot of the setups that they have. Like, it's cool that in the very first level we got, you know, a one-time coin. I mean, if you want to call it cool. You know what I mean? And yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. I was talking about in the Pacifica video. Where, like, this level is very open. Like, there was a lot of, like, down areas you could go into that I didn't see. Whoa! And yeah, that's pretty much, like, kind of what the whole game is like. You can see, like, I already have 99 coins, so maybe I should have spent all my money so I could at least have an idea of how many coins I got. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter, because, like, I'm only doing the, like, main levels. I think we actually missed a bonus, but I don't, I'm not going to try too hard to find everything, because, like I said, all the bonuses are the same. I'm just going to be kind of fumbling about. Like, this is what I mean, like, this is obviously, like, the beginning of Doorstop Dash, but there's still, like, new stuff. There's a bonus there that's really easy to get. It's just, like, deal with buzzes. You got these cool little rope sections where it's basically, like, a hard version of the stuff that's already in the game, right? Because, like, in the normal game, there are scenarios where you climb ropes between buzzes, but, well, you just don't see it, like, more than, like, it's there, but it's not hard, I guess. Is a good way of putting it. And as you definitely want Kitty here, because Kitty carries barrels much faster. Ah! Well, you know what I'm trying to do. You walk over here, and I'm pretty sure coins here? Actually, no, I guess not. Off the top of my head, though, I believe there's a bonus around here? Something? I swear! Something. Huh. Maybe I'm just crazy. I always remember there being something where that buzzes, but then I do it, and it's always just like, oh, there wasn't. Well, that's no big deal, I guess. Maybe there's something here! No. Actually, I wonder if there's something up there. Well, there's the coin, yeah. You carry the thing all the way there, and we got real lucky there, and the game was very generous with that hitbox. Thankfully. You can do some platform with these platforms. Those platforms are like, these like style of like the, I don't even know, the like, weird metal wood platform like things. There are lots, there aren't that, I'm losing my train of thought here. There's not that many of them throughout the game, weirdly enough. Like, they're all kind of scattered around random levels, but they're like, there's not that many of them, and they're basically just there as like a little extra like thing. Like, they're a very strange object. I didn't really mention that during the playthrough. But you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of them in, like, mill levels, but even then, like, there's only like 1 or 2 of them per mill level. And you see some of them in factory levels too. They're just a really strange object. Anyways, more of these jerks. Once you like, I see people have trouble with the recoils all the time, but like once you learn about just rolling, it's like they stop being difficult at all. But a lot of people never really take the time to really learn about rolling. Shoot. I think there's a bonus over here, so if I shoot like this, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll go into it. Whatever. It'll probably be faster just to fall. Yeah. Or I'll just jump into the B, either way. I think, funny enough, internally, the buzz enemies are still called zingers. So it's likely that they originally were going to be zingers before being changed into buzzes. But I don't really know too much about the detail of the development of this game, so I can only speculate. I think, I mean, while we're on the topic, Kitty is called, like, DK? Or something like, what is it? It's like, I think it's like DN, because his name in Japanese is Dinky Kong. Anything out here? There sure is. Cool. But for some reason, I guess sometime between when they were making this game and when it came out, they decided to change him to Kitty Kong. Because, you know, obviously this game came out here first. Like, it didn't come out in Japan first because it's a Rare game. For some reason, Rare games come out in Europe last, which is funny because it usually is how always gets their games last. Like, that's typical, but, like, it's just funny how, like, Rare's a British developer and it still came out last in Europe. And then all their games came out here first. I'm not sure why. But, wow. Jeez. I just kind of ran through the level without really talking about it. I mean, it was a cool level. It's got some cool little rope sections. I like that rope section at the end of the level where you kind of climb between a bunch of ropes. I wish the normal game did more, like, rope climbing like that. And then we got this weird section here where you have to ride a toboggan. And, of course, if you fall into the water, you just die because the toboggan does not have any sort of reaction to landing on the water, so you just fall through it. And the funny thing is, this guy just put the toboggan here and you can totally just go past it. And I'm not even sure why it's here. Like, I'm gonna do it just because it's here, like, it's part of the level, like, it's intended. So, I mean, I might as well. I mean, it's pretty rudimentary. You just kind of jump off stuff. And then you jump to the barrel and you're good. Yay. Ow! And I'm pretty sure if you backtrack a bunch, there's like a bunch of other stuff. Because, like, yeah. This is actually, I wish the normal game did this. Like, the funny thing is, Donkey Kong Land actually does, in fact, or Donkey Kong Land 3 does, in fact, do stuff like this. Where there are instances where, like, they don't, how do I put this? The toboggans, I mean, we've seen it, right? The toboggans don't get cleared by shooting you out. Instead, you just kind of, wow, is there stuff down here too? Cool. I forgot how much there was down here. You know, actually, I can just start select, so let's just do that. But, yeah, the toboggans clear themselves with the, like, exit stuff, like the things that get rid of animal buddies. And, I mean, we've already seen that they hide bonuses like that, where if you backtrack after clearing one of those, jeez. There's actually stuff to find. I think that Coco might have killed me if I'd been unlucky. So let's be careful about that. And it's cool that this guy does that too. Although, obviously, I do wish it was a little more natural, because obviously toboggans were never intended for this kind of level. And it kind of brings up some interesting details about how this game, like, handles certain things. I'm gonna shoot back if I can, because there's stuff up there. I believe that is where another bonus is. Yeah. So, if you've ever looked into, like, ROM hacking with this game, the way that this game handles certain like things, like, you can actually put any sprite into any level at any time with, like, and there are no, like, limitations, like, there's no sprite bank limitations, as it were, I'm pretty sure. I might actually be wrong about that, but as far as I know, that is the case. But, even though that is the case, there are limitations still, namely, two big things. First of all is pallets. There are only so many pallets that can be loaded at the same time. And obviously if you have too many pallets, then enemies that come on screen, like after all the pallets have been taken up, will start loading glitched pallets because they can't load in their proper pallet. So they'll just take whatever's on screen at the time, which is usually the last one that was loaded in. And you can even see this in the normal game in certain spots by kind of loading in, like doing weird things basically. Where like sometimes, like I think one particular example I always bring up is the rocker barrels, where like there's one point where if you like shoot out of a rocker barrel above a bunch of buzzes and then drop back down, the buzzes will be like there'll be a glitched pallet where they'll be loading the fire from the rocker barrel, so they'll be red and like orange yellowish. And there's a banana in here, probably a bonus, yeah. And the second limitation is, as you can probably anyone that's ever played a ROM hack of these games knows, is the sounds. Only so many sounds can be loaded in, and it's loaded in not per level but per song. It's the same thing as Donkey Kong Country 2, and I think kind of Donkey Kong Country 1, although Donkey Kong Country 1's weird and doesn't kind of completely do that. It's weird, but it works in that, yeah, each particular like song has its own like sound bank loaded in, and though whatchamacallit, I can see that bonus really high in the sky. Woo! I mean, I might as well jump into it. It's there. Just show it off. They can even get it. But yeah, only so many songs loaded in. I rolled into that dude, even though I don't think you're normally supposed to be able to, which is interesting. Those enemies are also weird. Some of the like I mentioned that, it's because some knickknacks can't be rolled into, but some of them can. It's like one of the... They're like probably like the most inconsistent enemy in the game. And I don't just mean like some of them can like fly and some of them don't, but like, oh! That. Whoopsies. What was I talking about? Alright, sound bank. So yeah. Only like each like music track has its own sound bank associated with it. And funny enough, because some songs like whatchamacallit, some like level types have like more sound effects, or like there's more sound effects than they can handle. So how they do it is that there's actually duplicate songs in the game, like more than one version of each song, where the only difference between them is that each song, like each duplicate track has a different sound bank associated with it. And that's why, for example, in my video I did recently where I showed off Squitter, even though Squitter shows up in 3 cave levels, only one of the cave levels actually has his song or sound effects loaded in. The other 2 use a different version of the cave song that does not have his sound effects loaded in. And I believe, like, whatchamacallit, I'll point out right now, I think it's really cool that some of the bonuses in this ROM hack actually are different, not because they're physically different, but because, for example, you're getting Squitter in this level, so you normally don't get to play that bonus with Squitter. You play with either Ellie, or if you really try hard, you can play with Kongs. I also like how that bonus is actually used as like a reset. So if like for some reason you grab Squitter and then decide to backtrack for some reason, you would have to, you know, do the thing. Got Bazooka here. Anyways, we also get Squawks, and Squawks sound effects is also not loaded in. Thankfully, Squawks' sound effects aren't that bad, because if you play with the egg, like shoot the egg in this level, it's just kind of a... So, you know, it's fine. Anyways, let's grab that. Forget if there's anything to look for. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, show up more of that hot Kongs have no hitbox action. Funny enough, Squawks gives you this barrel, but you don't actually do anything with it. Although you can kill this Cuff and Clout. But there's no actual coin associated with that barrel you give it. It's purely just because it's there. And I remember this section from, because I've already played through a bunch of this hack like a year ago or so. I played through it by myself, and then after I completed it, I was like, let's play through it for fun. And this section is like insanely difficult as Kitty. Like, doing those jumps as Kitty is basically impossible, because that buzz won't pop in on screen until like after the fact, you know what I mean? Oh shoot. So here's one of those legendary soft locks. If you come here as Dixie by herself and jump over this wall, you are screwed and have to restart the level. And by restart the level, I mean you have to reset the whole ROM. Which is obviously not good design, but I'm guessing he just didn't think of that. He just put this here because it lets you throw it over. But like, realistically, he should have just made it so you have to do that. Just throw it over. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Sometimes you just mess up and you don't even realize it. You can see how this object is not moving at all, and it's not reacting to our presence. And that is because the trapdoor objects are a very weird, I guess the best way to put it is they're a weird hybrid object. Where the way they work is that there's simply a trapdoor tile like this, and then there's an object associated with it that you put in the same spot that properly makes it like act differently. It'll like change the tile dynamically as you like interact with it. But if you take away said sprite object, then it just acts like a normal solid tile, which is interesting. You can see there's a bonus over there, and there's actually, this bonus is really interesting to me, and we'll see why soon enough, because we're gonna get over to it soon. But for now, I'm gonna shoot up here. I think there's just a letter up here. Let's see. Got more of the laggy barrels. Yeah, letter N. That's like straight out of like the doorstop dash level, actually, funny enough. Let me see something. I think there's actually something over against this wall. No, I was wrong. I always think there's stuff against the walls, but no, it's just the buzz. Hanging out, doing his buzz stuff. And we do actually, in fact, eventually get to play as Ellie for this level. Which is funny. I'm not sure if we actually deal with any rats while we're in the level, though. Like, we do, but none with the lights. Like, nothing more than just, like, hanging out here and waiting. Oh, yeah, I saw that one coming. That was weird. Bananas work a little weirdly sometimes, and it's not something you normally get to see because they're pretty like careful about making sure that they aren't weird. But yeah, there's definitely instances where certain banana like sets can be like dealt with weird. Anyways, what's cool about this bonus is, like I said, you can actually go into this bonus from 2 different spots. If you have a Kong partner with it, you can toss them up there. But otherwise, you can just interact with it at the end of the level, which lets you get to do this. And getting to do it as Dixie is actually like super easy, because you just kind of run towards it like that. I forget where this puts you. I think this puts you back earlier though. Oh no. So it puts you like, oh shit. It actually did put us way back. Oh fuck. I gotta redo like half the level now. Dang it. That sucks. Well, that's fine. It's not like this level is particularly long. It's only long because I'm taking forever to like do stuff. But like, if you really run through it, like you can really run through it. Like, you only interact with the rats one time as Ellie in this ROM hack, so... Well, in a meaningful way, anyways. Ah, fuck! Well, that's okay. It's fine as long as I don't die. You get a Kong here. It's a-okay. You get your extra life. We roll down here. And, we're done. Actually puts, I think this is pretty much where the original level starts. It's like you go through the level almost kind of reverse, in a weird way. Because, like, a lot of the tile sets are changed, but they're not, like, totally changed. And that's because, obviously, because this game's tile sets are pretty hard to deal with. Like, relatively speaking, I mentioned earlier that it's probably a lot easier to deal with these tile sets than it is to deal with the first game's tile sets. Because Donkey Kong Country 1 has some fairly complex tile sets. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this part. we'll be seeing more levels in the future, and yeah, they'll be pretty weird later on, but not nearly as weird as Lost Levels was. Lost Levels was turbo weird, but yeah. Oh shit! I forgot, I can't save in this because I already have all the banana birds in this file. Well, you know, that's fine. Let's just say, see you guys later. Monkey Shrapnel out.